Do we have another question from the fans of the drive-through here today on the program?
Indeed we do. And our next email, sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com, comes from Cousin David from Hamilton, Ontario. Cousin David, perhaps...
Wait a minute, is it your cousin?
I think he was like the least popular hillbilly in mid-'80s WWF.
Oh, that Cousin David. Okay, yeah. There was Cousin Junior, there was Cousin Lanny or whatever. No, Lanny was Cousin Junior.
I think Cousin David was part of the family only for Canadian content rules.
Ah, that's true. Yeah. Cousin David, the Ontario hillbilly. Go, what does David want to know?
So David starts off his question, the first few words in all caps. And I'm going to try really hard not to say it like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, don't shout.
What is the deal with the spear being a finishing move? Is it because of football backgrounds? It's kind of lame when a lot of wrestlers have that as their finisher. Why not do a hockey body check instead? And he says, joking. Where can I find more unique finishers? What do you think are the top 3 best finishers? And his personal insight, me, myself, and I don't like being put in a figure 4 or chicken wing hold. Most of all, pile driven. Good moves, though. P.S. Don't try this at home.
Well, to the... First of all, let's save the best finishers. But the spear, it's like everything else. If the guy doing it does it and it looks really good, then it's great. And if it doesn't, if it's not, when multiple wrestlers do the same finish, then yes, it does have an element of making that move seem more routine. When the only one doing the DDT was Jake, when the only one doing the figure 4 was Flair, whatever the case, it made it more special. But also then you set yourself up, if you're one of the guys doing a finish that somebody else is doing, you're setting yourself up to be compared to other people. Now, Roman Reigns is pretty bulletproof. He's the biggest regular star on the biggest television show on the biggest promotion. He can do the fucking spear. Edge, previously in that company, as we just saw from multiple programs on A&E, was the spear master in his time there, but I don't know at that point if anybody else was allowed to do the spear in the WWE because Edge was doing it. They generally protect people's moves. Obviously not forever. Just because you were doing something in 2009 doesn't mean a guy can't be doing it in 2022. What are the best finishes? I don't know too much anymore because there hardly are any. Because nobody ever really wins with one except after... You know, in the case of the WWE, there's going to be some kind of interference or belt shot or whatever, and then the finish. In the case of AEW, they're going to do 18 million finishes, and then just when they've decided they're done and they've done all the shit they plan to do, they're going to just, whatever the finish is, it might be the 17th most impressive move of the match. And it's usually flat. You know, there are finishes that should always be protected. Nobody can ever change my mind about the pile driver. It's the easiest, safest move to do that when done properly looks like it would fucking hospitalize you. So why not make that one the one that's most protected, that nobody gets up from? It's too late, but we could have done it. For years in a lot of territories, it was illegal. The Tennessee Athletic Commission, the promoters in Tennessee back in the 50s, actually got the legitimate athletic commission to declare the pile driver was an illegal hold, and it was banned so that way they could tell the truth whenever they said it was a banned hold, and you're disqualified if you use it. You might be fined, and the guy's carried out. And that's why people jumped to their feet, women screamed, and kids cried when a guy in the Tennessee territory got pile drived, because they thought that's it for him. So it's not what the greatest finishes are, it's whether they're protected, and not only whether they look great and whether they're exciting and whether they look devastating, but whether they're protected and not done over and over by everybody. It used to be a rule of thumb that anytime a top guy in a territory was using a certain finish, nobody else could use it. And that should be the case today. But there are so many other promotions that you can watch, especially the really diehard fans, that if you watch 7 or 8 different promotions, you're going to see guys doing the same moves in all of them. And that, basically is makes them more mundane. But the only finish that I can think of that's really been protected well is that one wing fairy of Harpo's. And it looks like shit and looks like it would hurt you if you had a bad neck or bad back. But he's been smart enough that he doesn't let anybody kick out of that thing, even though there are 50 more devastating moves in wrestling than that everybody routinely just shrugs off. So that's my thought.